Can I get a big hey, James? Hey! And that's all I will say about myself, because this event is not about me, it is about all of you. Now, I always like to start out the military appreciation gathering with the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. So if you are able to, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem? Let's see if we get that. Here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'd like for you to help me welcome to the stage. I'm not going to be singing for you. People would walk out of here if that were the case. This person does not have to be here. She is choosing to be here to sing for all of you. She's taking time out of her day. From England, mind you, not even from the United States, singing our national anthem. Would you please help me welcome to the stage, Hannah?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Hannah. You may be seated. Thank you. All right. We always show this slide here. We're going to go through each of the branches of the military. And if you were or are a part of that particular military branch, we're going to play that branch's song. So if you would stand and be recognized for that particular branch, feel free to clap along, sing along. I need a lot of energy in the room as we do this. And we are going to start the the recognition, with the Army. Army, go ahead and stand up and be recognized. Here we go. One more time, make some noise for the Army. Thank you, Army. Next up, we have the Marines. Hoorah! Here we go. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. One more time for the Marines. All right, before we go any further, in first place so far, we have time. We gotta run out of time. All right, next up we have the Navy. Navy, there we go. Here's your song. One more time for the Navy. Next up, we have the Air Force. There we go. Coast Guard. We work on a ship, people. We're not forgetting about the Coast Guard. Sometimes we'll have one, maybe two. Any Coast Guard here? No. They were probably like, I'm getting away from ships for a while. Alright, we're going to listen to the song as well. Yeah, same thing with the Navy. Same thing with the Navy. Maybe. There it is.
Carried by our ships in times of war and peace, and never have we struck again in spite of foeman's flying. Who cheered our crews and cheered again for showing how to fly. So here's the Coast Guard marching song. We sing on land or sea, through surf and storm and howling gale. High shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our God.
One more time, make some noise for the Coast Guard. This next branch, sometimes I get a little chuckle, but I will tell you that a few weeks ago, I had my very first person from the Space Force who joined us for a military appreciation gathering. So it was a neat thing to go through. So is there anybody here from the Space Force? Can we please give a round of applause for our Space Force? Now, the Space Force does not have a song yet. I thought about putting the Star Trek theme in, but then I thought that would have been inappropriate. So we don't have a song in here yet, but hey, hopefully soon, hopefully soon. I want to take this opportunity to recognize anybody from the United States Public Health Service, NOAA, or the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or any other uniformed service members. If that's you, would you please stand and be recognized? You. Next is going to be the civilian personnel. Civilian personnel?
That'd be you.
Thank you. Civilian personnel. Next, I always like to recognize military families. Military families. So if you were a military family, would you please stand and be recognized? And I would like for you to continue standing if you are a spouse, of someone in the military. Can we please give a big round of applause for our spouses holding down the fort back at home? Thank you to our spouses. Next, we're going to go through some of the conflicts. Now, as many of you know, the United States has been involved in a lot of conflicts throughout its history. I'm not going to mention every single one. I'm just going to hit some of the bigger ones that we tend to have folks represented here. But if I do miss one that you were a part of, we do have an open forum at the end of our military appreciation gathering. So feel free to mention your name, where you served, and what conflict that it was. Starting out, I always like to recognize these folks because we are losing them every single day. And in my 5 years of working on ships, there have only been 2, and that's going to be World War II veterans. If you are a World War II veteran, would you please make yourself known? Next, also known as the Forgotten War, the Korean War. So if you are a Korean War veteran, would you please stand and be recognized? The next conflict, Korean, right here. Thank you. Thank you. The next conflict, I've heard the horror stories about how some of you were treated. Some of you were spat on, had things thrown at you, were called baby killers. And no one should ever have to go through that. And that's going to be Vietnam era veterans. If you are a Vietnam era veteran, would you please stand and be recognized? And if you would remain standing for just a second, on behalf of Carnival, I would like to wish each and every single one of you a big welcome home. Welcome home. The next conflicts I'll mention fairly quickly, because otherwise I feel like some of you would just be up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's going to be the first Gulf War. If you were a part of the first Gulf War, would you please stand? As well as the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. Thank you. I do know that we have at least one, because I've heard a story, that is currently active duty. Do we have any active duty personnel that are here? Next, I always like to recognize certain families. The first family that I would like to recognize are going to be Gold Star families. And that's going to be anyone who has lost a loved one in combat. If you are a Gold Star family member, would you please make yourself known? And the next group is going to be White Star family. If you don't know what that is, it's going to be someone who has lost a loved one from suicide due to PTSD. And I don't like to have them make themselves known, because it is a tough thing to go through, because PTSD is a serious matter. But if there is anybody here that is a White Star family member, just know that we are all here to support you. I want to take this opportunity for a moment of silence for those that have passed on, whether it's being killed in combat, POWs, MIAs, or those who have come back and have lived out their life and have passed on. So for one final time, if you could stand for me for a moment of silence. At the end of this moment of silence, to honor those who have moved on, I will be playing taps. Thank you. We have now come to the open forum section of our military appreciation gathering. This is an opportunity to say anything that you would like. We do have Marcella here who has a microphone. Even if it's just your name, where you're from, and where you served. Before anybody does speak though, there are a couple things to keep in mind. Please remember why we are all here. So if you could do me a favor and set politics aside for a moment, because we are here to honor those who are serving and who have served. Having said that, I'll tell you a little story. This happened on my very first Carnival ship in 2017. It was the Carnival Fantasy. And the cruise director's name was Mikey, and he was hosting this event. And it came to the open forum section. A gentleman stood up over here on this side, said his name, where he was from. And not 2 seconds later, did someone over here stand up? And they said, "John, is that you?" They had served on the same unit 30 years prior and had no idea that they were on the same ship together. So you never know who you're gonna meet at these military appreciation gatherings. So if you do have anything at all to say, just raise your hand and Marcella will come to you.
I would just like to honor my dad, who served in World War I, my brother, who served in World War II, my husband, who served in, what's the one right after World War II? Korea and Vietnam, and I don't have any active duty after that. My one son and my one grandson.
Good morning, my name is Robert, U.S. Army from 2001 to 2012. Before I get out of here, I'm not telling you already, I gotta go feed my daughter. But I just want to give you the Vietnam veterans. I believe there's 8 or 9 of you guys in here. I just want to tell you guys thank you for all that you do. Serving in Iraq and Afghanistan, and having the privilege of having some Vietnam veterans come to our arms room and showing them our equipment and how amazed they were to hear their stories. You know, I would constantly remind my soldiers downrange, you know, like, hey, we haven't made it. You know, we stay in fog, we have buildings, we sleep with a roof over our head. You know, we're not out for days, on weeks and months on patrol. We come back mostly, usually days, and that's on the cop site. So I have much respect for Vietnam veterans. Thank you for all you guys did and for everything that you guys went through. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My name is Greg Clark, retired Air Force. There's a thing called honor flight. Not sure if you guys, anybody knows about that, if you ever heard about that, but I had the privilege of taking a veteran about 2 years ago. Him and I are both vets, but he didn't think he needed to be there. And that has a lot of people, a lot of Vietnam guys and stuff that they didn't deserve to be there, but you do. So look up the honor flight. I'm sure they got one in your area. So just check it out. You deserve to be there. So, and they take you to DC, they fly you there, and they treat you good. So.
Hey everyone, I'm just going to be really brief. Don't wait until Memorial Day, Veterans Day to reach out. Reach out every day. Man. You don't know how much it means to someone. You don't wait until a birthday or anniversary, a random Tuesday, a football Sunday. Just because, just reach out and see how they're doing. You'd be amazed at how lonely lives have become. COVID did not make it better. People are so isolated and they feel so alone. Just reach out, say hello. The number of times I've gotten a text that have been
Hersha. I served in the Marine Corps from 1966 till 70. It was, I didn't count it all, it was 3 years, 10 months, 3 days, 12 hours, 15 minutes, and 37 seconds. I was in Vietnam in 1968. And I like to say that anybody who was in Vietnam or offshore in Vietnam in the Navy, there's a great organization called the Vietnam Veterans of America. And they do great things for you, they do great things for all veterans. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm an Army Specialist, Zach Smith, and my wife is Sergeant Gabby Smith, and we're Operation Inheritors, all vets, and we're also currently serving. And we would like to say, on behalf of those that are still in the service, thank you guys that have paved the way for us. And like, I don't know where he is, but like he said, you know, we had it easy. We were in a fob somewhere, in a bunker, but we weren't in the trenches or anything. So thank you guys.
As she heads back there, I always like to recognize my family as well. I had a grandfather who was in the Army. I had an uncle who flew bombers off of aircraft carriers, Top Gun style. And I had another uncle who was in the 82nd Airborne. And I never really understood what it meant for them until I was in 11th grade. And I had a project to interview someone who was in the military. And I decided to talk to my uncle in the 82nd Airborne about it. First conversation I really ever had with him about his time in the military. And I remember asking him, why the Airborne? And without skimming a beat, this shows you the humor that he has. He said, I always wanted to go into the Army. I just thought I'd do it the crazy way by jumping out of airplanes. Flash forward 30 years later, his son, so my cousin, is currently in his 2nd year at VMI and planning to go into the service when he graduates as well. So.
Hi, Bernadette Corona. I come from a long line of military family, but my sister was a horrible parent, sorry, and my parents saved my niece who finished high school, went into the Marine Corps, and now she's a drill sergeant doing the best that she can do, and she has a career now, she has a life, so I'm thankful for the Marines.
Hi, my father, retired Lieutenant Colonel Daniel McCafferty, served in Korea and World War II, and him and my mom are now in Arlington Cemetery.
Anyone else? We're thinking, no, I'm ready to get off the ship.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Evans, United States Air Force, retired Lieutenant Colonel. I just wanted to take a moment and tell everyone who has served, family members who have served, because it's a difficult task to watch a family member go off, not knowing when and if they'll come back. And that's a challenging task. But our country has been involved in many conflicts through the years, and we've talked about some of them. But we haven't done it by ourselves. Many of you know that in foreign lands that you have served with service members from other countries and through all these conflicts. And they have had members that have served and died just like our country has. So I would like to take a moment to remember those from other countries that have served with us as we have defended freedom around the world.
name is Kara Rodriguez. I am a Navy officer. As September 11th closely approaches and there's Fleet Week going on, if you're out celebrating with families, please, if you see something, say something. It's definitely going to be a heightened time of year, so just make sure you're vigilant. Thank you.
All right. Yes. One more. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Claudia Mercer. I am from Colombia, South America, and completely agree with you, sir. There are so many other nations that have joined forces, efforts, love for our flags to fight for freedom. I was 6 months before stepping into the Army, into the Navy, when my boyfriend, we were about just few months to get married, was killed in action. We had joined goals to be in the military. That was the dream of my life that stopped right there when he was killed. But I have the honor to say that my life has always been touched by the bravery of the military personnel. My father was also in the military. I have the honor to work in a military hospital after that event that really marked my life, attending and meeting so many generals that have saved my country and filled my life with stories that only make my life richer and richer. I did not have to be in the Navy to be so proud of every single military personnel around the world, because the joint love for the country and the flag is what keep us safe, and we can be happy and proud to speak about liberty. My grandfather was also in the military, but I met this wonderful grandfather-in-law. He was in the Korean War, who gave me so many perspectives about his experience, and for that reason, here, I am not a military personnel, but I want to say thank you. Thank you for every single person who believes in freedom, who believes that those stories are real and have touched our lives somehow, and keep our hearts filled with love and hope for always continue fighting for love, fighting for peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right here.
Yeah. Hi.
Good morning, everyone. I come from a long history of background of military. My dad served 25 years. My brother retired. He served 25 years in the Army. My daughter-in-law served in the Army, and my son briefly in the Navy, and my husband in the Coast Guard. So I just give so much respect to military personnel. When we travel all over the United States, there's so much love for him, and people always say, thank you for your service, and they look at me. I didn't serve, he did, but coming from a family of military, we feel it too as well. And what the young lady said, September the 11th, we do have to be vigilant, and if you see something, say something. But I just wanted to tell all the military people, we love you, appreciate everything that you've done.
Yes.
I grew up an Army brat. In a military family, my dad served for 29 years in the Army. My dad was in the invasion of North Africa, the invasion of Sicily. He was in Korea. He was in Vietnam. And he was there at D-Day. And he was a proud Army man. He had a Silver Star, a Bronze Star, and a Purple Heart. Never talked about it when I was growing up. I found out from my husband, who sat at a table with him and looked at all his medals. And he always said to me when I would ask him about anything, I did what my commander-in-chief told me to do. And so I appreciate each and every one of you for serving. Thank you.
Thank you. coffee's still kicking in for some. All right, there are two people that I always like to give credit to. If you have cruised on another cruise line or may have cruised with Carnival years and years ago, you may remember the days of having the military appreciation gathering in a library somewhere on a port day while everybody was off the ship. You'd have 3, maybe 4 people show up, and it was not hosted. And there was a cruise director that came along and decided that all needed to change. And her name was Jamie D. Some of you who have cruised many times may have sailed with Jamie D. She is no longer with Carnival, but I always do like to give credit to her, because without her, we would not have this event for you today. The other person I always like to recognize is Carnival's president, Christine Duffy. She is a massive supporter of the military. This is actually her at the 2018 Joint Civilian Orientation Conference. And she has actually prepared a little video for all of you. So let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Christine Duffy, President of Carnival Cruise Line, and I would like to thank you not only for cruising with us, but for attending this special tribute we've put together to honor those who have served or are currently serving in our military. Military service is very near and dear to me personally, as my father and all of my uncles served in the U.S. Armed Forces. My dad was in the Army, and my 3 uncles served in the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marines. My stepfather was a Green Beret, and now our son Sean, who I'm so proud of, is currently in law school and planning to join the service as a JAG when he graduates. I have personally witnessed the honor and dedication of military men and women and the sacrifices made by their families, and I am humbled by those who are willing to give so much to preserve and protect our freedoms. At Carnival Cruise Line, we have been a big supporter of military families, and I am very proud to say that we carry more active and retired military personnel than any other cruise line in the world. My first official event as president of Carnival was in February of 2015, where I had the opportunity to be in Galveston, Texas to commemorate the start of cruises on Carnival Freedom. During this special celebration featuring country music star Martina McBride, we kicked off our partnership with Operation Homefront. This partnership has endured, and we have continued to provide charitable support to Operation Homefront. Their mission is to build strong, stable, and secure military families so they can thrive in the communities they have worked so hard to protect for us. With more than 3,200 volunteers nationwide, Operation Homefront provides assistance to military families through food and housing, as well as a variety of financial aid services. With Operation Homefront and country music superstar Carrie Underwood, we introduced our Honor Family Fund program. This was a year-long program that not only raised funds for Operation Homefront, but we were able to give many military families the opportunity to sail with us on Carnival Vista and attend Carrie's concerts. We also chose Deshauna Barber as the godmother of Carnival Vista. Deshauna is the first active duty U.S. military officer to wear the Miss USA crown. I had the privilege of spending time with Deshauna during the naming ceremony in New York, and she is truly an extraordinary young woman. During the ceremony, she spoke about her time in the military, the importance of supporting our servicemen and women, and how important it is to spend time with our loved ones. Let's take a look.
I am humbled and proud and honored and inspired all at the same time. As a daughter of a retired Master Sergeant who served in U.S. Special Forces, I know what it's like to have a parent in the military. I serve as a commander right now, and it has its ups and downs. I have soldiers that I need to take care of. And that's why when I won Miss USA, I made my platform PTSD care and PTSD awareness and providing PTSD resources for our soldiers. What we do as military is very important. And when the days get hard, you have to think about days like this where you have organizations like Carnival Cruise Line and Operation Homefront that do what they need to do to appreciate our soldiers and the sacrifices that they have made and their families have made.
I hope all of you have enjoyed this special event today as much as we at Carnival enjoyed honoring you for your service. We thank you for spending your vacation with us, and on behalf of the entire Carnival family, we hope you and your loved ones had an extraordinary time here on your Carnival cruise, because you deserve it. Thank you.
This is always a very difficult event to end. How do you end an event saying thank you? As was stated earlier, we shouldn't just be saying thank you for your service on Veterans Day or September 11th. It should continue every single day. As you exit this room, just remember, if you see somebody wearing a hat or a shirt, thank them for what they have done. A simple thank you can go a long way. Having said that, for those of you who have been to military appreciation gatherings before, you know that pre-pandemic we used to gather everyone on the stage and take a group photo. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that. However, I will put the American flag back on the screen. This front row is open for you if you would like to come and take a photo. But again, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for joining me for the Military Appreciation Gathering. I hope you do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.